All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the ATYL live stream on a Wednesday night. And it's the Roundtable edition. We're going to do this once a month where the entire ATYL Media crew comes on the show and we all just talk all things motorsports. So happy to see you all tuning in as we talk all things Atlanta, everything coming up in INDYCAR, Formula One, some sim racing stuff along the way, the short track. We have the Cars Tour starting. So, of course, we have John, or the motorsports enthusiast, Alex, aka Newgaden, Buddy with On Tour. We have Slide Job Sal with the show Splash and Dash. Of course, Adam Lucas, you know Adam from the ATY live shows, and then Big Duke with his show, Big Duke's Virtual Race Hub. So we're all here talking motorsports. And if you guys have any conversations you want to have in the chat or bring to our attention, just let us know. But let's start off right away talking about Atlanta. I know we all maybe had some opinions on it. Sal, I want to know your thoughts first off about the caution stuff, because we have some things to dive into with that, but I'm curious your take first as one of our NASCAR coverage folks.
I mean, it was a little confusing in terms of consistency on the cautions.
Yeah.
It was a real barn burner to watch those boys in Xfinity run back to this checkered. For the life of me, I still haven't figured out why Justin Allgaier didn't slide up to block the 21, but that's a whole nother conversation. But it'd be nice to have a little consistency. I think the caution in the Cup race was warranted, but it sure made my head hurt for quite a while after the fact. But it was a good weekend.
It was a good weekend. Like, I want to get like a vote here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you think the call on Sunday was the right one? Do we think it was the right one? Yeah. Thumbs. Ooh,
in terms of safety, yes.
So it's my understanding, though, that during the drivers' meeting on Sunday, that they said, "Hey, if this happens, this is going to be a caution." So it's if they put that out and the drivers knew, the only thing that we're really complaining about is I'm not sure what. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the drivers knew, and was that put out too? Because it seems like I heard that either right as the race was starting, or maybe it was afterwards. I'm not real sure, but it seems like they tried to at least clear it up beforehand, or try to get ahead of it.
Yeah, and they cleared it up beforehand with the drivers. And NASCAR has a new podcast called the Holler Talk. And basically, they're talking through all of NASCAR's decisions after the race weekend, and they're being very transparent with it, which I appreciate. And one of the things that they said is they wish they would have communicated more with the fans about this adjustment. And so next time they'll be more transparent with that. There's a lot more comments I have with this, but Adam, I'm curious, why'd you say no?
Just looking back at where the accident happened on the backstretch, it was leading into turn 3, which could have easily ensured a photo finish, hopefully, with enough lead time to slow the cars down between 1 and 2 in the backstretch in case there was a true danger. So, I mean, just that's a judgment call. Obviously, you want to err on the side of caution. However, from what we've been able to see now afterwards, it really didn't look like a major incident. So I'm kind of ticked about that. Would have loved to have seen if Bell or Hocevar or Larson, which one of them really would have been able to stick their nose out. And feeling from the vibe that I was picking up on Sunday, I think Hocevar might have had that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about that. I had Carly.
They would have made it back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So like we were robbed of one of those finishes that we could talk for an entire year about.
Yeah.
Now we get to see, when did the yellow flag come out? When did the caution light come on?
We were robbed, but at one point we were all okay with never being able to have a green flag finish attempt at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So
it's tough.
I'm just wondering when the technology is going to come out. When they have the crash boxes, when there's going to be a technology out that's going to just automatically throw a caution once the hit is at a certain either angle or G, that it just wirelessly communicates. Okay, well that's going to be a caution now, and it's out of the hands of NASCAR. That's going to be a technology that's going to be cool when it comes out.
My man's at 3008.
It's not far off. It's not far off though, because that's the stuff they're searching for, because it takes humans out of it. I mean, it's like what they got going on with the baseball umpire stuff now. It's just at some point it's going to be that way. They can officiate a whole race with like 4 officials on ground right now. They do pit stops. They do pit road stuff from Charlotte right now. They don't even have to have the pro trailer out there. So it's all coming. It's just a matter of time.
And
One
Buddy,
thing I want to mention
go
is,
for
does
it.
anybody remember the overtime line rule that was in the middle of the back stretches at racetracks?
No, we don't. We don't want to talk about it.
I forgot, actually.
So if you cross that line, that's like the danger zone. If you don't reach it and there's a caution, you have a caution. If you pass that on the final lap and there is a wreck, that's going to be a judgment call on, oh my God, is it a giant pileup that's taking everybody out? There's danger imminent. Yeah, you got to throw it. If it's like one car spinning, no, don't ruin a epic finish. That's my stance. But I mean,
well,
who's listening to me?
John, you were there. Like, so how was it from like being at the track?
So when I tell you the disappointment in everybody's face when they threw that caution, so I'm sitting here filming this and I see them go 3 wide. I don't realize until I look up that there's a caution because I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna get 3. It's another 3 wide finish. Everybody
viral.
When I tell you, everybody was like, you got to be kidding me. I think they weren't really mad at who won the race. I think it was more like, you got to be kidding me that that's what happened. And so I from where I was sitting, I mean, and from what I saw, especially with the last 2 races, it wouldn't surprise me that another 3 wide finish was going to happen the way that race was going. I mean, I have to say that was probably one of the best races I've been to in person. Like, it was, all 3 races were fantastic. The racing was great. The passing was incredible coming into 1, going into 3. But when I think that there was a big sigh of just sadness when everybody realized that caution flew, because I was like, oh my God, Hocevar could have just won this. And, we didn't have that. So, yeah.
It was looking good for Carson there for a minute, wasn't it?
It
It would have been worth all the hell he got after the fact.
And that brings up a good point. Like, he was getting a lot of crap online by fans and even drivers alike for how he raced. But like, I put out my opinion. I'm for it. He was going after his first win. Like, do we agree?
You know who else drove like that, right?
I didn't see him wreck the 2 car, and then I didn't see him eventually wreck the 24 for that. I didn't see Carson do that.
Right.
I didn't see him finish anybody.
I mean, he went to the Dale Jr. School of being selfish and super.
There you go.
That's how I look at it.
Right.
Like, I mean,
for me, he is like a younger version of Joey Logano. When Logano came in, he was the same kind of thing. Very skinny little guy. He always had people pointing his faces. He got Kevin Harvick mad at him. He got Ryan Newman mad at him. I mean, and if you're going to be competitive, you have to be aggressive. You have to make the veterans mad. Like, we have a new threat here, and it's Carson Hocevar. We saw this a few years ago with Ross Chastain, and Chastain's kind of fallen off a bit because he didn't like not being liked by fans. He didn't like his fellow drivers not liking him.
I mean,
if I'm Carson, I don't change how I'm racing. Like, maybe the Blaney thing might have been too far. I don't know. But at a point, you don't want to risk your being competitive to like just run in the 20s all the time. He's not running in the best equipment.
Right.
And the second that he's the best chance he has to win are at these super speedways, and because he's not going to be up there at a road course. I don't think the speed's there a mile and a half. I think super speedways are his best chance. And when we saw the speed at Daytona, I think he was like, I'm going to try to go out and win at Atlanta, because he had a solid chance and he was making moves. So I think it's a mixture of really kind of developing that aggression and when to deploy it. And it's just him being a young driver. Like, when do I be that aggressive? When should I back that off? And I mean, we all heard Kyle Busch's lovely words. You know, a driver's doing something right when you get Kyle Busch that mad. I mean, let me just say that there. So I think.
I don't think it's that hard.
No,
it's an easy ass to get Kyle riled up.
But like, we haven't seen him talk like that in a second. Like, it's been a little while. So.
And other people have brought up too, I mean, in the comments, I'm seeing Aubrey mention this, that, I mean, Carson does have a reputation for aggressive racing. Think about it, his truck series days, he was controversial there. Pretty controversial.
That was on a whole nother level, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was, those two things are not the same.
I mean,
I was going to say, he's matured.
No.
He's definitely matured.
Yeah. It's gone from reckless to aggressive. We've kind of gone a different stage of
evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of an evolution there.
It's a good flavor to have.
I didn't like how apologetic he was to Rick.
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
You know why that happened.
I got scared that I'm like, they're gonna chop
Hey, you
his
wanna
you know
get
what off
Chastain.
like
Well,
they
that's
did
the
Yeah.
Ross.
first thing they started
Like,
asking him about.
like Ross has not
Clipped
been
his
the
wings.
same since Darlington
Tough.
2023. He
But
has
that's
not. And I'm so scared they're gonna do
That's
that
one of
to
the first
Carson.
things they started asking about, though, was the whole, why, like they started, like they went in on, and that's very irritating to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got 2 of the last 5 plate races where kids have been admonished, whatever, for going with the wrong person. Like what? Like, well, what is this series coming to? Like, we've got kids pushing for their first wins.
Yeah.
And Carson even called a shot. He said, "Well, yeah, I was going to give the 20th shot to get him up the hill so I can make it 3 wide." Guess what he did? He gave the 20th shot, got him up the hill, and made it 3 wide. He was about to win the race. Like, I don't understand the frustration with these kids that are just trying to race. Like, it's really given me a bad taste in my mouth for where the direction in which the series is heading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're overturning the apple cart. These young guys, it's tough.
Yeah.
You can't have the same 10 winners all the time, and eventually, young guys are going to take a shot at it, especially at super speedways. It's got to happen.
It's the fine line between are you a driver or are you a racer? Drivers are content with riding around. Racers are going to try to find a way to get the dub.
That's exactly right.
And you
Carson
have guys
to try to get a dub.
Yeah, and you have guys that come in and change the sport. Mark Martin led us into the give and take era. Joey took us into the all take, no give. And it's like, it's eat or be eaten out there. And Carson, he's eating. He's eating good.
Yeah.
I would like to say, if he pulls down to try to go with the 5, everybody realizes that he wrecks the piss out of the 5, right?
Yeah.
He hits him exactly like he hit the 12, and everybody wrecks. So what was he supposed to do there?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
That was apologizing to Mr. H was a business decision, I think, more so than anything else. I don't think the 5 was ever in a position to get help from the 77.
Oh,
but,
no. No.
They made it exciting, though. I mean, that stuff with Blaney there at the end was something.
Yeah.
And I mean,
yeah.
Blaney faded for a second. Like he was
Tokyo drifting for a second. He looked like he was still skirting on the apron.
Like 10 or 12 to go, he was coming with the new tires, and it's like he just kind of plateaued for a second.
He wasn't getting any help. In there. I think they all knew if they helped him, he was going to win that race.
Oh,
he had the freshest tires by far.
Yeah.
It was tough. He had one less teammate out there. World's
he still got up to
greatest
4th
driver
at the end.
Got involved with Cindric. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. Man,
I love seeing the Larson fans.
Yeah,
they've been fun to see engage with things on social media this week. They're a very committed group over there.
They
those
really
Kyle
are.
Larson folks. I give them a lot of credit. But
if you're Cindric, you got to live to see the last lap. And he did not go. He did not take that approach.
See, that's what I said this to somebody.
But no block is necessary.
Right.
His spotter should have been in his ear to let him know, man. There's like the 5's got the run. There's room behind. You could fall in. Like the spotter could have been in his ear and be like, "Yo, there's room behind. We don't, like you said, let's live to race another corner." But it's hard to get in a driver's ear when they're digging hard and it's coming to the end of the race too, right? Like. They don't want to give up that spot because the outside's so momentum sensitive. So, what do you do? It's tough.
Well, I feel like we had all this chaos the past 2 weeks with the 500 in Atlanta, and then we're going to go into Circuit of the Americas, which is totally different vibe. We're going to talk about that later in the show. Yeah, that's the vibe, Dom. That's definitely the vibe we're talking about here.
Coda's great. Come on, Dom.
Coda's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a fan of
the best part of
that.
You're hearing F1 stuff right now, and you're saying Coda's a snoozer? Come on.
Oh, listen, there's a time and a place for Coda, and it's when these guys are on the racetrack.
All right.
No, I'm glad they're shortening the racetrack. I'm sure we'll get into all this later.
Oh, yeah.
My whole beef with Coda, it was too long of a lap for a cup car.
Yes.
100%.
Well, we fixed that.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later in the show. I want to get to now just previewing some things that are coming up in the motorsports world. Obviously, INDYCAR starting their season this weekend at St. Pete. And Alex, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of drivers to new places. There's one driver in particular that I think got completely robbed this year. I don't know if you're going to talk about that or not, but man, hate it for Lindquist.
Well, first of all, INDYCAR's on Fox now. I'm sure everyone's seen those ads, right? What do you all think of all that?
They've been great.
Yeah,
They'd
big
be
pretty
thumbs
good.
up.
Awesome. Yeah. Knocked it out of the
So
park.
we all know Fox's NASCAR coverage, right? So I am very cautiously optimistic, right? We've seen pretty good marketing from Fox. What are your guys' expectations for Fox and their actual coverage for IndyCar? If you're going to watch.
I think it'll be great year one, and then just a
Yeah.
steady,
A steady decline, to be polite.
I wasn't going to say it. I'll let you.
I'll just say it.
It's a decent booth that they have right now, but let's just see how long a full season with those guys together really kind of see if they gel or not.
I mean, how many commercials are they going to show during the race? That's the real question.
Yeah.
They keep up with what they're doing with the NASCAR.
Every single one of them.
Every lap, just watching a commercial for some old man pills or a vitamin or a bent carrot or something. I don't know what to tell you. It's rough out here with these commercials.
Pironi's.
Adam, you mentioned the booth, and they're going to have Will Buxton in the booth. And for me, I was really surprised by that move. But the more I've thought about it, the initial rumor was going to be Alan Bestwick. And I know we all probably would have loved that.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that would have been killer.
That's the
But
dream.
the more I think about it, Alan Bestwick would not have reached new fans, while Will Buxton would have reached a lot of the F1 audience. And I think that's what Fox is going for. But I'm a little concerned because he doesn't have too much play-by-play experience. I don't know if Fox would do this, but I'd love if they would let Mike Joy do it. I know he's past his prime and everything, but let Mike Joy do the Indy 500, I'm saying. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be cool.
Add it to his resume. Because I'm just like, you're going to have someone who doesn't have a lot of experience doing this called the Indy 500. That's an interesting choice, but I'm sure he'll do okay.
Hopefully Will reverts back to his like old school days of when he was the only on track or at track guy for F1 when they had their NBC coverage.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping we get that version of Will Buxton where he was a little more gritty and just kind of all over the place.
Well,
instead
we've
of
seen him
corporate F1 guy that we see now.
Yeah, we've seen him come out and say that they want IndyCar to be more popular than NASCAR, and that's a direct shot, which I think is great for both. I mean, I think he brings it to the table. I think the experience he has, and like you were saying, I think him bringing over that young fan or that F1 fan is going to boost up IndyCar, and I think just Fox needs to deliver. If they can deliver on it, they're sitting on a pretty decent gold mine right there. I mean, they from what it seems that they're making all the right moves. Now, is the game going to play out the way that they want it to? So,
I think the good news for IndyCar is they don't have a competition problem. It's they just need to get eyeballs on the competition.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I go back to watching a little bit last year and first race of the year, St. Petersburg. I mean, we all know what happened after. I don't care. It was a great race. It was competitive. I mean, just the sound of the Indy cars is intoxicating by itself. They've got no issues with their cars and their competition. It's just you got to get people to watch. And I think this is the promotions are awesome. That's a great start. Just got to tie it in with a good broadcast. Other than that, I think this is a huge opportunity for IndyCar, and they should be pumped.
100%.
If the commercials
we're in
for a good year, I guess. Yeah. I'm not a big IndyCar guy, so I'm learning as I'm listening to everybody. But like as someone from outside looking in, I want to watch it because of the way that they've lined things up to start, not knowing really anything about it.
And I've been watching IndyCar since like the mid 2000s, most of the seasons, like full season since about 2014 or so. And I've never seen it be promoted like this. I thought NBC did good with their coverage, but they never promoted it at all.
I agree.
So I think the big thing is like, I'm so curious what the TV number for St. Pete's going to be, because it's the lead into NASCAR this weekend, St. Pete is. And, all the advertising, I'm curious how that's going to actually play into it. But I think the big thing is just going to be, will that audience stay throughout the full season? Because there's still a big gap sort of the season. They have Thermal Club not right away, but it's race 2. And then it's another like couple weeks after that to race 3. That's going to be rough. And I feel like we're going to lose a lot of the audience despite the marketing there.
There's a lot of jaded X energy over there at Fox to promote IndyCar better than they promote NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the thing is that this is the first time IndyCar is going to be on Fox, and they have to promote it because nobody knows that it's there. One, a lot of people don't even know when IndyCar's on, period, before this.
Right.
So it's the new shiny toy that Fox has. So yeah, as someone said earlier, it might be just 1 year really good, but they need to let everyone know, like, really, really badly, like, hey, it's here now. It's not at NBC. It's not at the Versus Network. Not ESPN, not ABC. It's on Fox.
And it's not behind a paywall
huge
to
change.
watch.
Yeah.
That's the huge thing too.
Yeah.
And it's not on FS1. It's on Fox.
5 different channels like
Cable
NASCAR.
television. You think that gives them an
over there.
advantage over like what
Bunny rabbit
NASCAR
ears.
decided to do?
Yeah. I mean, somebody mentioned it here where it's like, speaking with the Xfinity series too. I know people have struggled to kind of watch that still, but like you don't have to pay to watch the CW.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay.
It's
Like
huge.
Yep.
There's one central place for everyone to watch the sport that they love. And it's a huge win, right? It's not overcomplicated.
To answer your question, Sal, that the TV deal is a huge win for
Mhm.
IndyCar. And Indy Next was exclusive to Peacock the past couple of years. That's like their Xfinity series. That's going to be on FS1, FS2.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay,
I
that's
think
cool.
the only thing that IndyCar is really losing is a streaming option, but it's still going to be readily available on Fox. Like if you have an antenna, for example.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
great win for IndyCar. They're getting a ton more money. It's going to be all on TV. I'm just still hesitant about the actual TV coverage. From what I've been told and understand is that IMS Productions is still going to be doing a lot of like camera work. They
Yes.
did that with NBC. That should be staying on, but there's still some concerns with production I have, but we'll see what happens.
Only one way to find out.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
we'll find out
this
soon.
weekend.
See
what happens on
We're gonna
Sunday.
find out.
Nothing to it but to do it.
That's
Rolling
right.
on.
Oh man.
Yeah, super excited for the IndyCar season to kick off. Like we'll be watching it this weekend. So excited.
Yeah. I see James in the chat said Joseph
James.
Newgarden won the championship this year. I'm curious what you guys think. Who's going to be the IndyCar favorite if you have one in mind? Because Joseph's kind of been not there on the road courses the past couple seasons. I know he's won the Indy 500 the last 2 times, but he's really only been good on the ovals, quite frankly. I mean, road courses is kind of iffy. Who's your championship favorite?
The
one
I gotta go with Palou.
I was gonna
Hello?
say it feels.
Palou's just been so
that.
consistent. He's consistent across the board. His weak points are the ovals, but ovals are not the majority of the schedule. So yeah, I mean,
I wish.
look, I think I had this conversation with Dom the other day about how the old school IndyCar was just like strictly ovals, and you had Champ Car that had all the road racing and whatnot. And when they merged, it was like IndyCar got kicked out.
Yeah.
So like the true IndyCar died. But yeah, I think Palou. You can't go against the champion, in my opinion, with just how consistent he's been able to be after the 500. So that's who I think is going to win it.
I mean, I'd like to see how Scotty Mack does without hopefully any penalties this year. Like, because I mean, if he did not have a penalty, he would have at least had a shot to fight for the championship with a few races left last season. So I want to see how he does. Like, I really think that he could win the championship this year, but again, it is so hard to overthrow Palou and just the dominance he's had on the series.
In the chat, Adam's saying Scotty Mack's going to win. We have a few Palous.
Oh, award. I love
awards.
this.
Pato, let's go.
Let's go.
The amigo.
I think Pato has the same kind of problem Newgarden's had the last few years. He just needs to be more consistent throughout the year. McLaren as a whole. I'm hoping McLaren, for them, they can just keep us the same lineup for a full season. They haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
Messy.
Oops.
So I'm going to say Newgarden only because knowing IndyCar as little as I do, the one thing I do know is Roger Penske does not like Chip Ganassi winning back-to-back so much.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to come out really hungry this year. And I mean, back-to-back Indy 500 champion.
Yeah.
He does have a lot going for him, but I agree with you. Like, it's great to be the Indy 500 champion. Don't get me wrong. It's almost, I mean, it's right up there with winning the IndyCar championship,
It's
probably
bigger.
much higher.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think they're going to come out hungry this year. And Newgarden knows what to do. He's been there. He's, correct me if I'm wrong, 2-time champion or
17 and 19.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, he knows what to do. I just think it's more of a Team Penske wants it back more so than like just Newgarden.
Yeah, I'll second that too. And we got to remember, I mean, he got disqualified from the opening race last year, and I think he has a chip on his shoulder. Obviously, that sent him way back early on. I mean, you could say he got out of the way, but I mean, it was just such a big hill to overcome. I think he's going to try. I mean, he's my pick to win this weekend. I think he's going to try to come back and try to recorrect what 2024 could have been. But yeah, I think he's out for a vengeance. I think he's coming back. I mean, the commercial was fantastic, and if the commercial can perform as well as, or if he can perform as well as that commercial has, I'm all for Newgarden getting another chip for sure. So
I really feel bad for Roger Penske, man. He's been hurting lately.
He can't do anything right.
That Rolex 24
Can't do anything.
Yeah, poor Roger.
God, poor guy.
Well,
hope everything works out for him.
We will move on from our IndyCar conversation. Before we talk about some short track racing, wanted to let you all know about a new partner of ours, Happy Hour Racing. We all know and love them. If you go to happyhourracing.com/ATYL, QR code will be on the screen for you guys in just a second. Just check out their merchandise. Literally, it's the best price motorsports merchandise you'll find anywhere. Literally, their shipping is so fast. Chris and everyone who's over there at Happy Hour Racing, great customer service. And they have a bunch of really cool stuff. You can pre-order like wind gear. There's die casts over there. There's incredible hats. Like all of my racing hats are from there, essentially. And we're all excited to help start, promoting some of the really cool gear that's getting sent our way too. So we're really excited about that. But make sure to check out Happy Hour Racing. They're supporting us in a big way this year across all content creators. Everyone on this show right now, they're supporting all of us, which is awesome. So make sure to check out their merchandise, their apparel. And then they're going to be coming out with a bunch of cool stuff for the rest of this year too, like subscription boxes and things like that. So be on the lookout for that as well, but make sure to give them a follow on socials. There's a link in the description of our video on YouTube and Facebook about where you can find them. And even just scan the QR code on the screen. We'll keep that up there for a few seconds as we go into some short track stuff.
Hey, before I need to bid you guys adieu.
Oh yes, Duke, it's
Captain.
been an honor, Captain.
A pleasure.
Y'all, hey, keep the ship afloat. I shall retire to the quarters.
Aye.
Aye.
Y'all,
Bye, Duke.
How do you do?
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Buddy, Cars
That's
Tour.
Me. I'm Buddy. Yes.
Coming up
Cars
this
Tour.
weekend. Let's chat
If
about
you guys didn't know, the Cars Tour is starting up this weekend at New River All-American Speedway in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Woo-woo.
So if you enjoy the beach in whatever cold temperatures we're going to have this weekend, this would be a perfect time for you to go and also enjoy some Cars Tour racing. If you got it, I would imagine there's a lot of people out here who maybe don't watch late model racing religiously. To put it in comparison to something in NASCAR, New River All-American Speedway, where they're going this weekend, is like the Darlington of late models. It chews tires like no tomorrow. It is the metaphorical egg under the gas pedal. You're absolutely gonna need that. So it's gonna be a great race this weekend. A lot of cool stuff coming out of the Cars Tour this year. A guy named Doug Barnes, if you guys haven't heard of him, he used to drive a quote unquote Ferrari, Dom. Cars Tour. There you go. You found the driver. There we go. There we go. Fun iRacing, exactly. But it's going to be great. It's going to be a great season, and we're going to have coverage all year long. I'm hoping to be at every Cars Tour race, with the exception of one.
For a very important reason.
I will be in Mexico for the Cup race.
Oh wow!
Very nice.
Anyway,
So
yeah.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, very good reason.
Pretty solid.
But
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, what drivers should we be looking out for this weekend? I know you have, Spencer. Well, I'm thinking about Alabama 200. I think, but like this weekend for the Car Store, who should we be looking out for?
Connor Hall he was in the Nelson Motorsports car last year, the red 22. He's moved over to JRM. There's a reason for it. He's very good. He nearly won the championship. Got beat out by Butterbean. Butterbean is now gone. He's in ARCA now. Won Daytona. Shout out to him. Ride the Dente. Go to Waffle House. But Connor Hall is going to be in the 88 car for JRM. He's probably the favorite for the Cars Tour Championship. When Junior and whoever else is not running the 8 car for JRM, it's going to be Caden Quapple, Carson's little brother. So shout out to the Quapples. But he's going to be fast. There's the Lee Polium cars are going to be quick all year 100%. Long, of course. Yeah, I mean those are kind of the Nelson Motorsports with who they have a new driver in their car. It's Carson. I can't pronounce his last name. Anyway, I'll get that to you guys. But Nelson Motorsports car is always going to be quick. Yeah.
And I think what's so important and why I love having On Tour on the ATYL Media platform too is like the short tracks are super important. It's where a lot of these drivers cut their teeth. There's a lot of really fun and exciting racing that you get there too. And for me too, on a personal note, working with Racing America and diving more into the short track side of things, it's been really cool to kind of see the names coming up, not only just for like the late models and pro lates, but like modified side of things, legend cars and Bandoleros even too. So definitely make sure you guys keep following Buddy with his show On Tour on our platform, and even too, like make sure you're watching this weekend for the Cars Tour stuff. It's like
Flow Racing every
Flow
week.
Racing.
Yes. Yeah.
Be there, guys.
Has anybody here been to a late model race? Anybody?
I went to
a lot of dirt.
The North Wilkesboro, not the first one, the 2023 North Wilkesboro race.
My man. All right.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a
And
good
then,
time.
Got
John,
some representation.
Which ones have you been to?
Been to the fairgrounds.
Yeah, fairgrounds. Yeah,
fairgrounds a couple times. And that's a heck of a show. Heck of a show at the fairgrounds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carson Lofton, by the way, that's who drives the Nelson Motorsports.
Oh yeah. You got it.
Yeah. Shout out to the person who sent me a text and was like, "Hey."
Love that.
Yes.
So make sure you guys are watching the Cars Tour this season, or at least you're keeping up with it through Buddy and On Tour. Yeah. But we'll move on. I know somebody talked about wanting to talk about Formula One testing and all that stuff. So let's bring it up now. So John, we have preseason testing for Formula One. We also had some livery previews, reviews, unveilings, whatever you want to call it, from testing so far. What have we seen?
Should we start singing, Dom? Should we?
No, because when we inevitably ruin every single race week, it feels even better when we win.
Yeah, tears will be flowing.
Yes.
But yeah, so let's see what's happened in F1 over the last, couple weeks. We've had F1 75, which was the official livery reveal for all the teams. I thought it was a great show. There has been some confusion about actually what it was for. Some people still think that they debuted the new cars. No, it wasn't the new cars. It was just the liveries. The new cars had individual dates that they all released. So I'm going to talk about that comment about F1 testing and the sandbagging. Let's talk about F1 testing. So they are in Bahrain right now for a 3-day test that started today, very early. I think 1 a.m. Central Time, so 2 a.m. Eastern Time. I will not be tuning in that early. I'll be tuning in the morning. But they have another test session tomorrow starting at the same time and same on Friday. And really quick, it's there's Chad. He said thoughts on the cursing ban. We're gonna get to that, buddy. Don't you worry. We're gonna get to that. So looking at the classifications of this first test session and about the sandbagging, gonna talk about that. So Lando Norris topped the board, not too unexpected, but looking through the field, you had George Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz in the top 5 against Sainz of the Williams. And a big thing that I'm seeing is that there's a lot of people that still are looking at testing as this is exactly what we're going to get when it comes to the season in Australia, when it's not. And a couple examples are the Haas teammates of Ocon and Behrman. They were on a completely different program than everybody else, and they were 3 to 5 seconds off the pace. So you have to take that in with a huge grain of salt. Also, I'm not saying as Carlos Sainz sitting in P5 as it's not valid. We just don't know what these cars are going to look like in day 2, in day 3, and when we reach Bahrain, the first couple races of the season. We don't know what these cars are going to look like, and we don't know what these cars are going to perform and how they're going to perform. There's so many unknowns. Yes, there might be sandbagging, but there's so many unknowns with things that have happened in testing so far. The lights went out, which delayed testing. It rained in some portions of the circuit, which completely made it a green track. It's such a tough situation to view the testing as end all be all, saying, yep, Lando Norris is first out of day 1. He's winning the World Drivers' Championship. Yes, I would love to say that, yes, Carlos Sainz, as a fellow ex-Ferrari driver, it would make my life to see him hopefully fulfill my previous prediction of winning a race in 2025, which I'm starting to think that's a bad idea, that I ever should have said that live or put that under the universe.
Jinx it.
Yeah. So again, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Haas didn't look good. Get out of here, LOL. I'm seeing that in the chat. So Haas, yeah. So
Shout out Corin.
they didn't look good because they were running a completely different program, and that was known. And that's the big thing is you have these teams with the green spray on the cars to see how the aero is going. You have the big spider web looking devices across multiple cars so they know where the airflow is going to go across the car. There's so many unknowns. You really have to take it with a grain of salt. But one thing that I do want to touch on is the liveries. So in the chat and also everybody here, if you've seen the liveries, what is your favorite car? What is your favorite livery of the season for 2025?
Dom, I wonder what yours is.
No, honestly, no.
Big Mercedes guy, yeah.
I know a lot of on me. No, I think honestly, it was very cool to see Racing Bulls just kind of like reinvent for the 7th year in a row. But I do like that car a lot. But I do think Alpine has the best improvement from last year because it's not 90% carbon with hints of pink and blue.
That's fair. Yeah, we got Racing Bulls race. Yeah, I think that's the consensus. Is Racing Bulls came out with it's my favorite livery, even aside from Ferraris with the deeper red. I mean, it looks like what
good.
they ran in Japan. I mean, it's the white livery with the Red Bull logo on the front and the back, and also the subtle touches of the bull fading from the white to the blue. It's a beautiful livery. I think it's great. We said McLaren had Lando out there looking like Slimmer from Ghostbusters with the Floviz. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, there's a livery right there. Taylor's got it pulled up. I mean, it's a
good car.
So good. It's so clean. Now, again, can Yuki keep his mouth shut and not get fined? I don't know. I love Yuki. No, I think he should. I think he should keep on voicing his opinion. But
they can pay those fines with Visa Cash App.
Yes, they can. There we go. Gotta plug the sponsor. But that car is just gorgeous. The white rear wing, the white front wing, the subtle hints of blue. It's a gorgeous livery. So going back to the fun conversation of the cursing ban. There was a very satirical post that I put out today about George Russell and what he said about the lights and how he potentially could get fined. I'm curious what the ATYL fam thinks about the cursing ban in Formula One. Basically, any cursing is bad. You can't say it anywhere. We've already seen a WRC driver get fined for it. So
I've never cursed a day in my life. So I'm for it. All for it.
Cursing. What's that?
Yeah,
he likes to wake up 6 in the morning.
The devil's language? No, absolutely not.
Not for any of us.
Do not partake. Yeah,
no.
Yeah, kind of soft.
No, I mean it just man. Look, I mean, it depends on what kind of audience you're trying to have. Like, you've brought in this huge wave of fans from Netflix. Well, let me tell you, Netflix is not exactly censored, so I don't exactly know what they're getting at here. So I don't know.
I mean, you're viewing at your own risk, and then also like with motorsports, there's scary wrecks and there's things like that aren't always kid friendly. Like, let the drivers have some personality and talk. You know what I mean?
My thing is like the cars are hard enough to drive. Now you have to think about what you're saying as you're saying it while you're driving the cars. No.
It kind of ridiculous to a certain group.
It's
it
the
doesn't
one thing
help the
holding me back
elitism
from being an F1 driver.
of F1.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Have they said why they're doing this? I'm assuming it's because of like a sponsor thing. Like the sponsors don't like it. Have they given a
So
reason?
There's a lot of reasons you
So
hear on the
gosh.
internet.
Yeah, so MBS, Mohammed Ben Sulayem has said multiple times that he doesn't motorsports, in a direct quote, it's not exactly what he said, but motorsports is not like rap music. We are not rappers, essentially. That's one thing. To put that there. Right. And then also he made a statement which I can understand to a point, but I have a objection and a potential solution to this. He said, what would you essentially teach your grandchildren or teach your kids about the sport? Like, is this exactly what you want them to see? My thought is, let them tune into F1 Kids. I mean, like, just let them watch F1 Kids.
Thank you.
Like, it's in the other side of it is, along with some other topics such as like religion and political, they said it doesn't go against, or it doesn't align with the current values of the FIA. That's the big overarching thing with this.
Oh,
So I'm just like,
Does it not match with the FIA really?
I will say during F175, the FIA got mentioned once for maybe 15 seconds, and the boos were so loud.
Well,
It
yeah,
was insane.
I mean,
Formula
Ramsey,
is by far not my favorite F word. I'm just gonna say that.
that needs to be a shirt. That needs to be on a T-shirt or a hat or something.
There we go.
Please. So I mean, yeah,
Write it
it's
down.
true. And like on F175, they made jokes about it. I mean, Gordon Ramsay, was
Love that guy.
was swearing on live TV, and they pulled it away as like a whole kind of play on the situation. I mean, I think everybody thinks it's a joke. I just think it's let's see. Thorin said if children are hearing cursing solely from F1, they lead extremely sheltered lives. Yeah. I mean, these are all very valid and potentially true comments.
I like this comment too. They gotta get creative.
Yeah. Hearing Verstappen shout
Dude,
flap.
every in-car radio is going to be
Just really loves breakfast.
Every in-car is going to be that Boris said interview from Watkins Glen. Like, that mother flipper, like golly gee.
He needs a whooping.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is, since ESPN's apparently not coming back next year, we need to have Nick Jr. take over the broadcasting.
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I love the Flovis paint.
Oh my god.
The cars just get
Backyard Sports
slimed.
put their name in the ringer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So other than that, thinking of other things in the Formula One world, the first time we've seen Lewis Hamilton on a proper track in the red. A question I'm going to throw out there: how do we think Lewis is going to do in 2025 with a new team with Ferrari? I'm going to hold
bias opinions,
all
right?
about the team,
No. I'm trying to
None
say,
here.
Dom, you gotta be careful what you say, Dom.
Right there.
Realistically speaking, I don't know what we're gonna get, because I mean, I 100% don't see him lighting the world on fire. Like, the car just moving to Ferrari was the difference. Like, it took Schumacher 4 years to figure out winning a championship with Ferrari. So I'm not seeing him lighting the world on fire. If we can come out of the Bahrain test with good numbers and the season opener in Australia with a top 5, that in itself is a victory.
Well, all right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not the guy to ask. So.
I will.
Buddy's like, yeah, whatever.
Ferrari, my favorite car brand is Red Bull. That's what I drive on a daily basis. So that's who I'm.
I'll say though, if Lewis is good, I'll care more about F1 than I do right now.
That's a good point.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's
And
good
I
for
think
the
my mental
casual
health
fan.
wonders.
Is a huge draw for Formula One, at least for me.
Yep.
Like, he just seems like a genuine. Like, I clearly don't watch F1 too much. Seems like a genuinely good person, and you always want to see those people do good. And he, the Jimmy Johnson comparison of just an overall good guy that also is a badass. Oh, sorry, we're getting fined from that.
40,000 euros.
Get him on the horn.
Okay, all right, my apologies. But anyway, I hope Lewis has a good year, because I think I think
world needs
one,
that
just
to
the
be.
pairing in general would be, not that F1 needs to be hyped up even more, but it would be big for the series.
Oh, for sure.
I
And
just want to see Dom do another sun drop celebration after Ferrari wins a race.
That was special.
That's really what I want.
That was awesome.
So at least get one win this year, Ferrari.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good. Really quick, I think him coming in and replacing Carlos, I think Lewis is a better driver than Carlos. I think it's gonna come down to, can the car and can the strategy work? And I think he'll win multiple races.
In
I really
Jesus'
do.
name.
Yeah, literally. I think he will win multiple races, and he's very confident after the first test. That's what I've heard. So are a lot of other drivers. So I think it's going to be exciting. I think this season's going to be great. So if you haven't watched it, if you haven't watched Formula One, I think this season you may have the biggest, or you may have the closest field with what's coming up in 2026, as well as just the parity of the field as it is at the moment. So I'm excited for it.
Everyone, make sure to watch Formula One. I feel like we're really promoting all these series here, but it's true. I mean, I feel like this year has the potential to be one of the best years in racing all across the board in a long time. So make sure to check that out. Before we get into our Circuit of the Americas preview, I wanted to say, I know there's probably a lot of topics that we did not get to, talking about like some motorsports news. I know some of you all wanted to talk about some penalties regarding some drivers and things like that, but we'll talk about that on our other shows Tuesday mornings again, and potentially a different morning next week for Sal. So stay tuned for that. But the Splash and Dash show, we'll talk some more about it there. Next week on ATYL Live, we'll talk about things. And then, of course, with all of our individual shows, we'll highlight news and topics and recaps from all the series that we discussed today. So stay tuned for that. But let's talk about Circuit of the Americas. Big weekend, especially in the Xfinity series. You got 41 cars, so 3 drivers are getting sent home.
It's awesome.
And then, of course, speaking of, I guess, Red Bull a little bit with the Formula One talk there, we got Red Bull paint schemes, or I guess one paint scheme this weekend for Connor Zilich's debut in the Cup Series. How do we think he'll do? Yeah, no, the paint scheme is freaking fantastic. I've already pre-ordered my paint scheme. I had to censor myself there too. I was like gonna curse, but it's fine. But no, the paint schemes are good. Like that for him, they look great. But how do we think he'll do?
He's in.
He's really good.
I think he'll do about like, do you guys remember when Jordan Taylor ran a Cup car? I think he'll do slightly better in the race, but I think in practice and qualifying, he'll look very similar. He'll be very quick. But I think, he's fast, but Carson Hocevar is fast and he gets in a lot of trouble. And it's just, it takes more to be than just being fast. And I think he's going to learn that the hard way in the Cup Series this weekend.
Yeah, and with Zilich, his goal going into this weekend is to not have expectations, because that's what he did for his Xfinity Series debut, and he was able to win that. But he also wants to become the youngest winner in the Cup Series. So competing objectives there, to not go in with expectations, but also being like, I'd like to be the youngest winner. So, I mean, I hope he does well. I think we all do. It's just a matter of what's the realistic expectation for him.
I'd love to be able to cancel my pre-order and order a race to win version.
I mean, me too. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
However, I got to be realistic.
You just have to remember, his racing pedigree. I forget that he's running the 24-hour.
He's a road racer.
Yeah.
He's won the 24-hour.
Yeah, he's won it. Yeah.
These are impressive accolades for somebody of his age. He's
Hickory
been all over the world. Yeah. But I don't know. I see somebody in the chat talking about how he's going to get run over on restarts and stuff. But as that race plays out and gets kind of strung along, I think he's going to be the most active driver on the track, just with the moves that he can make. Him and SVG, I feel like you're going to see the dueling Red Bull cars up at the front.
Yeah.
I think a top 15 is what I would personally expect for him, but there is a reason he's the second favorite in all the Vegas odds.
Yeah.
Yep,
like he has the resume to back that up. I don't think that's necessarily realistic, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's SVG and Connor right now, and looking at previous winners, I mean, you have Bowman, who hasn't won but has been one of the most consistent, hasn't finished outside of the top 4. That is plus 2,000 odds, where Zilich is plus 600 and SVG is plus 5. And so I I think it's a little bullish to say he's going to outright win. I expect a top 5 because I don't think the Cup guys are just going to let a young shot come in here, on a limited schedule on a
They know his accolades.
team. Yeah, they know that he can handle it. I think they're going to try to rattle his cage a little bit. But also, it wouldn't put it past me to think that he could get the pole and just drive away.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's the way it's going to happen if it happens. I think.
Y'all remember the last time he got the pole in a NASCAR race at Secret Americas?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he was running the even longer course.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is we have, let me pull up the course here. We have a shorter course this time around. So some things are a little different. Let me see if I can make this. There we go. That's a little better. So
who knows how to count?
It's a lot of numbers. Too bad.
I was going to say we got 6A, 6B.
yeah. So
the A-B corners are.
So
a lot of algebra.
I don't know if that's entirely accurate though, because it's almost like a mini bus stop going into 6A or 6B.
Wait, yeah, that doesn't look. I mean, that's
right.
what they put out, but it's not that much different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you might drive straight, but it doesn't. On the track, it's a little bit more of a, you come out of 6A.
Yeah.
It's like a chicane. Yeah, so I think it's great though.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm
they haven't
excited.
decided what layout they're going to go with yet.
Yeah. Maybe they don't know.
They do decide things kind of last minute at
They're
Coda,
gonna
like
leave it
track
up to
limits, all kinds of things.
They are definitely going to cone off the wrong part of the racetrack.
People driving through the premium RV section when they cone it off.
That's the premium circuit. That's not the national circuit.
The premium RV super stretch.
Just let them do a Joker lap around the whole track. See what happens. That'll be
A
fun.
little taste of Martinsville there with the hairpin. 6A.
I do think shortening the track, like I said earlier, like it's going to save
I agree.
Coda for NASCAR. Because that was my big gripe with it before. It's like I can't stay dialed into a race where lap times are north of 2 minutes. It's just an eternal, like for racing, that's an eternal lap. So
even when cautions came out, it was mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Sit through a caution.
That was the
Him
problem
in a nap
with Road
time.
America is just the cautions were ridiculous.
Yeah.
On Road America,
for sure.
And
And
I think.
reminder,
Go ahead.
go for it. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, Dale Jr. harps all the time about how if we go overseas, we need to go to Brands Hatch just because it's like the short track of road courses, and I think that this very much plays into it. And I think it's just overall going to work better.
Yeah, I think the shorter layout will definitely help. And then also keep in mind, we have a new tire going into this weekend that should hopefully increase some tire wear and hopefully help the product that we see on track. So they're really throwing everything at this to make this track finally truly work. And I know the past few years with the Cup Series, at least the first year and second year, we had rain involved and it was a little scary, a little sketchy. But they're giving it a fair shot this year, which I can appreciate. So we'll see how the changes work out. Kind of nervous, but it'll be okay. I don't want it to be a snooze fest. That's what I'm scared about.
I'd rather it be a snooze fest than see
nervous.
the whole field pile into turn one on overtime restart number 7.
That's
Right.
fair.
I'm worried about 6A or 6B rather. I mean, that corner I've tried it on iRacing. It is tough. Like to make that hard run.
That's troubling me.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna find out.
I guess we'll find out.
That's why
lap
we
one
run
is
the
going to be
race.
the true tester.
Yeah.
The elevation change at Coda, though, too. I mean, you talk, you hear turn one and you talk about elevation change, but even across the whole track, that would like scramble my brain if I was behind the wheel, But it's like it had such another element from guys like me who are dragging their knuckles on the ground, just wanting to see them go in circles. It's so different. Like you talk about iRacing, you feel the car feels totally different. So it'd be interesting to see how they tackle that, especially on the short course.
See,
I don't know.
The good thing with this though is because it's a whole new layout, NASCAR is going to do something that they really don't normally do, and that's let them practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a win. It's a win.
Go SVG, like Adam said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. We're
Not
going
you.
for the dub. Connor can finish
Yeah.
behind us in second.
No, not you. The Adam in the chat.
I know.
For a second, it though.
Adam and Adam, we both are SVG guys. and Buddy also obviously is. We yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got the New Zealand patch ready. Sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. You're good. We're not super biased here, you guys, but we do have some drivers that we pay attention to. Maybe talk about a little bit more.
Right.
More than not, right? Am I right?
Just look at my username. It's kind of
yeah.
obvious.
I was gonna say, like,
wait,
just
that's not
like
your
you all,
last
we're
name,
fans
Alex?
of the sport, though. Oh,
No way.
I've somehow managed to work it out that every racing thing I own has a shell on it somewhere.
I was just noticing that. Yeah,
How many shells are in your
Penske
room?
Ferrari collabs.
I was gonna say, reach out to us.
Do you get gas at a Shell? Is the question.
Hey, I saved 3 cents a gallon today.
Yeah,
You saved at the pump?
Saved at the pump.
Oh my
Gentlemen, he saved at the pump.
It's getting that V power 94. It's the good stuff.
The Subaru can't handle that. What are you talking about?
Rips right through the head gasket on it. No good.
One other thing to mention with Circuit of the Americas too, courtesy of our friends at Race Weather. Just looking very quickly at the weather for this weekend. Yes, it looks like it's going to be good. Like, we shouldn't be concerned about anything crazy. The only thing to mention is wind on Sunday. They said that high winds from the south on Sunday could affect drivers going into turn 1 and through the S's, but otherwise things should be pretty good.
S's, that would actually be really interesting.
So through the most unstable portion of the track is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Imagine
There's kind of
cars blowing over at Coda. That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, we've seen like a monsoon before. Why not?
Oh no. Watch out, Ryan.
Going into one and the car just starts to lift up like, oh no, not again.
Spaceship. They are in Texas. I mean,
Those tents and premium parking are going to have a hell of a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But of course, for more information about the weather during the race weekends across the board, just go to raceweather.com. Check them out. But yeah, good to see that everything's looking at least okay for this weekend. But the wind should make things interesting for sure.
as long as it don't rain. That's
I was gonna
really
say, as long as it
been the
doesn't
worst
rain.
enemy forever. You
Yeah.
know?
Let's go. Rain. I'm for it.
Yeah.
No.
I would
Put the wet weather tire
prefer
on.
weekend
Nothing crazy.
wet weather at the road course.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Nothing crazy, but like, you know.
We'll see.
A little
Well,
shower. Often
before
6A.
we go to, I hate to just do this like a sponsor after a sponsor, but we also love Benzik Designs.
We love our
Hell yeah.
sponsor.
Like, we love our sponsors, but
I
like,
need some of these things. I'll tell you.
they're so good, literally. And if you use the promo code ATYL 2025, you get 20% off your order. So like,
20% off your order.
that's crazy, right?
I'll call now.
Jeez.
Dom saved at the pump.
But literally, all the stands that you have or that you guys see like on my shelf, maybe not that well because like we're all really small on the screen right now. But every like 4-tier diecast display thing that I have comes from Matt Benzik at Benzik Designs, and they're incredible. He's actually making me a custom like racetrack that hopefully you guys will see very soon. But it's like all 3D printed and like it's crazy. So he does incredible work. Again, use the promo code ATYL 2025 to get 20% off. You can scan the QR code on your screen. All those things. But yeah, they're game changers. If you guys are looking for a way to like save space on your shelves, and granted, we all buy way too many diecasts. We can all agree on this.
No.
And I'm just no, buddy, right behind you. Like I'm running out of space, but I have way more space on my shelves using these little display cases and shelves things. So make sure to get them if you guys don't have them. Yeah, but I guess to close things out, we appreciate you all tuning in. We really do. This was like our first roundtable, so it was so much fun. So we appreciate you all commenting, watching, and also watching all of our content, not just this live stream, but like watching on tour, watching track limits, watching 4 laps, watching Slash and Dash, watching Above the Line, ATYL Live, watching all of our shows. Like, we appreciate you guys supporting all of us. And of course, thanks to all of our partners, not just Benzik Designs and Happy Hour Racing, but Goat Locker Racing, The Bright Mentality, and of course, On Brand for all they do to help us out and give us like really cool stuff to promote to you all and for helping us. And yeah, so thank you all so much for tuning in. We talked about a lot from the world of motorsports.
I'm prepared for this part.
Oh,
of the show.
you're
Everybody
prepared?
pulled something
Oh my
up,
gosh,
right?
I'm so ready. Yes. Oh my
we're
God.
so-
He's here. Oh, I have a new diecast. Speaking of diecast from Lionel, we love this. Here we are.
I'm a
Here we
TV guy
go.
from 2004. Let's
I
go.
wasn't prepared. I didn't know this was the
Alex!
thing.
This is okay.
Just
It's
say
okay.
spiders
It's
are our
okay.
friends, Alex. We'll be
You
good.
think Matt could
Wait,
make
wait,
me
wait.
a track for this behemoth? Because I
Oh,
don't
he
know where
totally
to put
could.
this thing.
There.
He totally
Ooh.
could.
I got
Yeah,
some.
we got it. We're
Okay.
good.
I like that. That's good.
Good.
We're
Yeah,
going
here
for
we
it.
are.
Number 3 coming in May. Watch out.
There is
Yes, it is.
so much racing on the horizon from
right.
INDYCAR, the short track stuff with Cars Tour, NASCAR, obviously. Formula One's got their testing. Everything's happening right now. We're going to keep you informed right here at ATYL Media from myself and the entire ATYL Media crew. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your evening with us. And until next time.